Run. I get that cash and I flip it, yeah. I get that cash and I flip it, yeah.
Hey you guys, so I'm back with another video. I'm still in the same stuff from my last video because I'm just in a recording mood today, so I'm trying to record. I always get tongue-tied. I'm trying to record a couple videos because it's been a while since I recorded anything or posted anything, and I'm just trying to record a couple so that I can just stay ahead of it and just kind of periodically post them throughout the week, just so you guys will have content kind of more consistently. So if you see me in the same thing in the next couple videos, just because I recorded maybe like 3 or 4 videos all on the same day, again, I have not plucked this wig. Don't come for my hairline. I just got it today. I'm not gonna go into the explanation. If y'all want to know more about this wig, go watch my video about my first time auditioning to dance, and that is where you'll find more details about this wig. So this video, what I'm going to be talking about is going to cosmetology school and my experience going to cosmetology school. And I wrote down a bunch of like little bullet points and stuff. So if you see me looking down at my little paper, that's what's going on. Or if you hear paper rustling, that is what's going on. I'm looking at my little bullet points and stuff. So yes, so we're gonna get right into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about with cosmetology school is kind of like the cost of going to cosmetology school. So for me, I was looking for more of a cheaper option just because I went to 2 4-year universities first. So my parents spent a lot of money on that, and I knew that trying to get them to cooperate to do this third venture was going to be difficult, and especially if I was presenting them with something that was going to be 20 to 25,000 like Paul Mitchell or Veda. So those were automatically off the list, even though originally I wanted to go to one of those 2 schools, but it just wasn't going to be feasible. So the school that I ended up going to was through a community college. So I went to City View through Central Piedmont. So it was a cosmetology program. And I think a lot of people don't really know that you can do a lot of these cosmetology programs through community colleges, and it's a lot cheaper if you do it that way. Like literally it's a lot cheaper, and you get your associates as well as your cosmetology license. So for just something to consider for if you want to go to cosmetology school, kind of think of like what is feasible, what's in your price range, what you're going to be able to make happen. Because not only do you have to pay for school and then student financial, y'all know financial aid is so stingy. So financial aid barely wants to give you anything. Also think about the fact that your cosmetology kit is a whole nother expense on top of your tuition. So my cosmetology kit was like it was around $1,300. It came with my clips, blow dryers, flat irons, Marcel irons, coloring bowls, brushes. What else? Your kit came with it didn't really come with your uniform. You kind of like were supposed to buy your uniform separately. I personally just went to Walmart and got black scrubs because we had to do all black. I will get to that later. But what else did the kit come with? The kit came with your books. It came with like a little book bag and stuff. Like it came with a lot of stuff, which was awesome, and the stuff was awesome. But it didn't come with anything that you couldn't get out of the beauty supply store. So I really don't even know why they don't just give you a list of everything that you need and just say, hey, go get this, because I could have got all of that for under $500. Literally everything that they gave me I could have got for under $500. The second thing about cosmetology school that you have to think about is the hours. Are the hours going to work for you? Because let me tell you, that it's hard. I'm trying not to cuss in this video because this is about school and stuff, but that is hard. Like, not that the program itself is hard, but trying to go to school and support yourself while you have to spend so much time in school, which means nobody's trying to hire you because your availability is non-existent whatsoever, is hard. We were in school from 7:30 a.m. until, when did we get out? 3 p.m., 4 p.m.? One of those. So we're in school all day. So the times people would normally be working, we were in school, which worked for some people because some people were married and they had husbands who could take care of a lot of stuff, or some people had family. I was paying for everything. Me, I was living on my own, paying my own bills, paying rent, all that stuff. And that's honestly what got me into, I was already waitressing beforehand, but that's what got me more into working nightlife, like bottle service and stuff like that, just because I needed a job where I could make a big amount of money in a short amount of time, because I needed to still be able to, oh God, I have makeup on this, so I'm trying to hide this. I'm like trying to cover it with my hair because this jacket is warm and it's cold in our house, and I don't want to go look for another hoodie because I don't really have hoodies like that. So I needed a job where I could make a lot of money in a short amount of time, which meant that a lot of these jobs that people would normally work were not available for me, because I could not, either they didn't pay enough to where I could work the short hours and still make enough money to live, or they paid good, but I couldn't work the hours to make enough money to live. So it was just always one or the other. So that's what kind of got me into nightlife. So just think about your timing, because it does take up a lot of your time. We had to do 1,500 hours, which means we broke it down into 3 semesters. And every semester you would have a goal that you had to hit. There were not a lot of opportunity for extra credit hours, in my opinion. Like we would get stuff kind of here and there, but there wasn't like a whole lot of opportunity for extra credit hours. So that's just something to think about. Like you can't miss days. Like you can't be, oh, I'm sick. Oh, I don't feel like coming today. Like you can't. Like people do, but then that means at the end you have to try and make up all those hours that you missed, and it is a pain in the butt. So just go to school. Don't do that. So the next thing about cosmetology school is the uniform. So some places will require you just to wear all black, which is cool. My school, you had to wear black scrubs. That was the uniform. You had to wear black scrubs. You had to have a lanyard with your school ID in it. What else? You had to have black shoes, black socks. I don't know why your socks mattered, because nobody ever sees your freaking socks, but black shoes, black socks. They would check your socks and stuff as well, and you would get, you were supposed to get sent home if your socks weren't black, but they weren't really about to send you home because your socks were the wrong color, but you were supposed to get sent home if your socks were black. You also were expected to have your hair and makeup done, which honestly, because of the fact that you're in school so early in the morning, if you had to do your hair and makeup every single morning and were expected to be photo ready at 7:30 a.m., I promise you would start to slip. You would get caught slipping eventually. And that's what would happen, because we were expected to, so basically the way they explained it were that either you need to have your hair done or your makeup done, preferably both, but you need to have one or the other, because if you came in with neither, you were also supposed to get sent home. Now, granted, they wouldn't send us home. They would give us like these long speeches about why we need to come with our hair and makeup done, because nobody was going to want to let us touch their hair if we didn't have our hair done, which is understandable because that's true. And you can't say that you do makeup and your makeup's not done, which also there is a lot of truth to that. You're kind of like selling yourself everywhere you go. So if you're out at the grocery store or you're out at the mall and you don't have a lick of makeup on and your hair's not done, you're not going to say, oh, I'm in cosmetology school, I can do your hair and your makeup. Because I'm going to look at you and be like, girl, no, you can't. Like, not with your stuff looking like that, no. And so I understood it, but it wasn't about to happen. It was too freaking early for that. So yeah, that was another thing about cosmetology school, was that you were expected to have your hair and makeup done every day super early, and no. Another thing is some programs are like chill and they're not that strict. Some programs like mine are super strict. We were always having a powwow about what you couldn't do. This new rule, we're locking this up. Y'all can't touch this. Y'all need to come ask us for this. Like, whew, Jesus. That's what one of my classmates used to always say. He would be like, Jesus, and I would just be dying laughing every time he did that. But literally, oh God, we would have these powwows every freaking other day, and I don't like powwows. Like, I just feel like they're so stupid and drawn out, and like, we're grown. Why do we need to have these powwows? Like, oh my God. So we would always have those about just literally what I just said. Like, stuff would be getting locked up because somebody didn't put it away right, or somebody didn't do this, or somebody didn't do that. So now the whole entire program was getting punished for it. So that I didn't like, and it did get annoying because my program was so freaking strict. Like, it was so strict. I used to ask people from other programs, and I used to be like, hey, like, do y'all have to do this? Do y'all have to do that? Like, is your program this strict? And they'd be like, no, like, ours isn't like that. Like, so yeah, my program was super strict. So just think about the program you're entering in, ask around about it, read reviews, make sure that it's gonna fit for you. Another thing, teachers. So I would say, honestly, like, you would think going to cosmetology school, it was really catty and stuff, but my program, we all got along pretty great. Like, we didn't have a lot of drama. Like, granted, me and two of my classmates got one of our teachers fired. That will be a whole nother story time, and I will tell that one with my classmates, so don't worry, we'll spill the tea. But outside of that, there wasn't like a lot of, and pause, I'm not even gonna say we got her fired. She got herself fired. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot for no reason. But outside of that, there really wasn't anything like crazy that happened at our school. Like, it really wasn't any like scandalous, or like people are beefing, or like I think there would be like subtle beefs between like teachers and stuff sometimes, but it wouldn't be anything. Like, they were very professional about not letting us know that was going on. So it was like, you know, people would kind of catch it, but it wasn't like it was anything like blatant or shady or anything. Like, my program, just like, people got along really well. Like, nobody was like, there were no fights, nobody was like, you know, getting cussed out on the floor or anything like that. Yeah, no, none of that. Like, I mean, within the program, clientele, like, we were in the hood. My program was in the hood, so we got the ratchet clientele. And occasionally, but even that was rare. Like, occasionally you would have somebody going off, but even that was rare. So altogether, it was like pretty chill. I can't speak for all cosmetology programs, just because when you are with that many females, things can get catty. And even outside of the program, once you graduate and stuff, just in the cosmetic industry, period, there's a lot of freaking cattiness. But I got lucky because my program wasn't like that. So consider that as well. Just, you know how you are, you know the type of person that you are, you know what you like and you don't like. So just make sure that you are in a space that's gonna fit you. Oh, also, okay, so teacher wise, so we had one teacher. She was annoying AF. Again, not cussing in this video. She was annoying AF. And the reason being was also because in cosmetology school, you have people from all walks of life, and you have people from all age groups. So you cannot talk to people like, if she was coming from teaching high school, you cannot talk to these grown women like you are teaching a high school class, and you got women in here that's 40, 45, 50 years old, and you're barely 30, trying to talk down to them like they are children. Don't talk to people like they're kids. Like, she just did not know. Her intentions were great. She's a very sweet person. She did not know how to talk to people, and it was annoying AF. And everybody let her have it, at least on one occasion or another, because she just did not know how to talk to people. And on top of that, she didn't know how to talk to people, and she was dealing with a more urban setting. She was white. She was dealing with a more urban setting, and she just wasn't really good at adjusting to it, I don't feel like. Because we had a couple teachers that were white, and all the other ones were cool. Like, all the other ones were cool. We had one student teacher, oh my god, I love her to death. I won't say her name because I don't know how people feel about me mentioned in videos, but she was awesome AF again. And yeah, so I don't feel like there was really an excuse for the first one, the beginner's teacher, not to adjust. It's just she was very anal too. Like, not the student teacher, we all love her, she was super funny, but the one that I'm talking about, like the one that was awkward and didn't know how to talk to people, she was very anal too. Like, she was one of those people that like overly followed the rules to the point where it's like, girl, like, do you want to jump in the rule book and be the rule book? Like, do you want to birth the rule book or what? Like, it was just like, it's not that deep. Like, calm down. Like, she was super anal. But so outside of that, just keep in mind, like, not all these teachers know how to like talk to people. Luckily, all my other teachers did and stuff. So everybody else was cool. It was just, she was annoying. She got everybody's nerves. Okay, so your requirement at your station, which I feel like is something, again, that a lot of people don't mention when they do cosmetology school experiences, blah, blah, blah. They don't mention that. So at your station, when you set up your station, you have to have items to be disinfected, which is or at least at our school, items to be disinfected is a container where anytime you use something, you put it in that container so that you can either wipe it off with a barbicide wipe later after you're done with your client, or you can immerse it. Y'all like my cosmetology school terminology. So you can immerse it in the barbicide later. So you had to have that. You had to have the barbicide wipes, of course, which them things are expensive. They're like $14, $15. So you had to have the wipes. We had to, every morning we had to recite the sanitation rules. So it would be like, they would come up to you and they'd be like, what's the procedure for if you cut yourself? What's the procedure if you cut a client? What's the procedure if if you cut yourself, if you cut a client? They were like, how do you disinfect your items? How do you disinfect items that cannot be immersed? Like, we had to recite that every single morning. So by the time we were done, we was reciting that like clockwork. Like, we were like, oh, you have to go by rule, like blood rule, point, blah, blah, blah. Like, we were reciting it like clockwork every morning. And then we would do kit checks. So kit checks, basically what that is your teacher will go through your kit, all your stuff. They will check for hairs. You're not supposed to have any hair in your kit because the school can get points off if state board comes in and you have hair in your kit. So we would do kit checks. They would check to make sure your stuff wasn't dirty. They would check what else? To also make sure that you had everything, because you weren't supposed to be on the floor if you didn't have all your stuff. Like, say you came to school with no flat irons, then you were technically supposed to get sent home that day because you're not prepared for the day.
So other things that you could get sent home for, I almost forgot to mention sign-offs. So with sign-offs, you would have a certain amount of sign-offs per week and a certain amount of sign-offs for each individual service that you had to get for every semester, so that by the end you would have the grand total basically. So every single week, because you were trying to get those sign-offs, like say you had 4 soft curls that you had to do that week, or 3 perms and so forth, you would be trying to mark those off the list. And so you would also still be trying to take regular actual live walk-in clients. And so sometimes people will try and turn down the clients because they want to finish out their sign-offs, which is kind of understandable in a way, because sometimes the client will want something that you already were completely done with and you wouldn't need any more of those. So you would want to work on something else. Like, say you were already done with perms and they wanted a perm, but you needed manicures, then you wouldn't want to sit there and do a perm. But if you refused it, you would get sent home. Now, I do feel like the black students sort of got pimped out in a way, because we were kind of expected to know how to do certain styles because we were black, and it was kind of put into question when we were like wanting to refuse that certain style, whereas the non-black students, if they would refuse a service, it was like, oh, okay, well, they're not comfortable doing this service, and then we would just basically get pimped out, because then it would get handed to us and we would have to do it. And I don't feel like they would get sent home as often when they refused, because it was like, oh, well, they don't feel comfortable. And when we refused the service, we never got that same benefit. But there was one service that used to take everybody out, and that was soft curls. People used to be like trying to deny soft curls left and right, because teachers would swear you could knock it out in an hour and a half. Soft curls took all day, like 4 to 5 hours all day. So I don't blame people for wanting to refuse them. I hated soft curls too, because you wouldn't get anything else you needed done for the day. And then people would try and come in and get them at the last minute, always the older ladies. But yeah, that basically sums up everything that you could get sent home for.
And then also during your kit check is when they would check your ID to make sure that you had it, because if you didn't have your badge, you were also supposed to go home. And that's when they would check your socks. I never had on black socks, ever. So the tests that we had to take during cosmetology school were also hard AF. When you got the tests that were like mostly about hair and stuff, those weren't hard at all. Like, they were really easy. When you would get the tests that would be about the human anatomy, they would be about blood vessels, the joints, like your bones, like all that stuff, like different diseases you can catch. Those were hard, and you would literally be looking like, am I in cosmetology school or am I a med student? Because somewhere along the lines, I think y'all forgot. Like, granted, I understand why they teach you all that stuff, but I used to be taking them tests like, oh my God, like, I literally feel like I am in nursing school. Like, what is going on? Like, when I say we would have to name, like, what can I think of? Like, the different bones in your face, we'd have to know that. We'd have to know what heart valve does what. Like, you would have to know the muscles in your freaking arms and stuff like that. Like, you would have to know all this different, just hard stuff. Like, I know I'm not making it sound hard when I'm talking about it, because I can't really think of, like, the more hard questions, but literally it was so much anatomy on there you wouldn't even think. Like, nobody who does cosmetology would think you had that much anatomy. On top of the anatomy, the nail portion was more difficult, just because there were so many nail diseases and whatnot, and a lot of the funguses and stuff that you can get under your nails and on your nails and stuff, they all kind of like some of them not like rhyme, but the wording is so close. Like, the words are almost identical, but then it'll be like the end of the word will be different. So because the wording was so close, that would be difficult to remember. And then just remembering all the different diseases, funguses, all the stuff about the nails. Like, the nail portion was no joke. You had to know the parts of the nail. So electricity, people don't think that you're gonna get tested on this. We had a big portion of electricity because we're using appliances that are electric, so they had a big portion on that, and that crap was hard too. So just keep all that in mind. Not all your tests are going to be about hair. You're going to get tests about everything under the sun, and it's not all going to be hair, and you need to be prepared and you need to study. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the downfalls of cosmetology school, just things that I feel like would have made my experience better had I known these things and if more schools would address them. So one of the things I feel like cosmetology school needs to work on is the fact that I do not like that a lot of these programs just assume that everybody wants to do hair. A lot of people that go to cosmetology school don't even want to do hair. They just want the certification to do everything in the realm of cosmetology. Like, literally, like, cosmetology is not just hair. Cosmetology is hair, nails, makeup, skincare. Like, literally, cosmetology is all those things. We did waxing, facials, everything. Like, and I really did not like the fact that my school in particular, but then a lot of schools, like a lot of schools, they don't really touch on anything but hair. Like, nails, you might get a week of nails. We literally, no, not even might. In the whole program, we got 1 week of nails, and it was barely in depth. It wasn't like we were sitting over there full blown learning how to do acrylic nails. Like, we barely touched on it, period. Everything was mainly like the diseases and whatnot, sanitation for nails, and like how to do people's natural nails, but we did not really touch on acrylic at all, barely. And that's what I went to cosmetology school for. I went to cosmetology school because I wanted the whole, but I knew I didn't want to do hair. I'm good at hair, but I knew I didn't want to do hair. I don't have the patience for hair. I applaud those who do. I didn't. So I just wish they would have spent more time on the nail portion, because that is what I was interested in. And because they didn't spend really any time at all on that, I ended up having to take a nail class after I graduated cosmetology school and my associate's program. I took a nail class as a graduation gift to myself, because they didn't teach me ish about nails when I was in class. So that is one downfall that I feel like people need to, or programs need to work on. They should do, to me, just as much in the hair department as they would do with nails or facials or makeup. Makeup, they did not touch on at all. We got like maybe 2 days of makeup. Nobody in that program who wanted to learn how to do makeup is gonna leave that program learning how to do makeup. Nobody understood how to do makeup, anything. It was no hands-on training really at all for how to do makeup, how to make it look good, how to blend, contour, highlight, none of that stuff. And because of that, we would have people, it was rare, now granted, because they don't teach that stuff, they don't really advertise that stuff either. So people don't really come to cosmetology schools to get their makeup done, at least to ours, they didn't. One girl came up for prom, and when she came up for prom, nobody knew how to do her makeup except for me and another girl, because we both worked at MAC. Or not because we both worked at MAC, because I knew how to do makeup before working at MAC, but we both were working at MAC at the time. We were the only two in the whole program who knew how to do her makeup. And then not only that, because they didn't really brush on makeup or know anything about makeup, the program itself did not have good makeup. And we ended up telling that girl, we were like, look, it's your prom. You need to go somewhere and spend the money to get your makeup done for real. Because had I known she was coming, I would have brought my makeup kit and she would have been straight. Or, you know, or my friend Poe, she would have brought her makeup kit and the girl would have been straight. But we didn't know she was coming. So nobody had the legit makeup. We just had the school's makeup, which was literally trash. So I wish they would have taken the time to spend more time on other topics outside of hair, because I know there were multiple people in there who wanted to know more than just hair. So yeah, and even the hair stuff they teach you, it's not like, honestly, I feel like you're the best stylists that I have seen have not been girls coming out of cosmetology school. Not to say it doesn't happen, and not to talk down on anybody who I know, because I've seen some girls do great hair in cosmetology school. But the best stylists that I've seen have been the people who didn't even go to cosmetology school and just ended up getting their license some other way later. I ain't gonna make the block hot, but those are like the girls that are self-taught, been doing it for forever, was doing it from the time they were a kid, watching YouTube videos, stuff like that. Them girls be busting out some like legit, they can do hair. Cosmetology school more so does not really teach you how to do hair. It doesn't teach you how to do the current trends and stuff. You're not gonna learn how to do no frontal. You're not gonna learn no vixen sew-in, more than likely not. You're not gonna learn how to make no wig, like the real way. You're not gonna learn how to make a wig. So it's not like you're gonna learn anything that's really like trendy now. So that's why I say, like, you're not really gonna learn how to do hair. You're gonna learn how to properly sanitize your tools and stuff, how to make sure that you don't burn people and whatnot, but you're not really gonna learn how to do hair. Like, all that stuff is you on your own watching YouTube or watching whatever you want to watch to really get that knowledge. But in cosmetology school, you're just getting like the basics so that you don't be out here spreading disease and infection and getting people messed up. So yeah, you're not really gonna learn how to do hair, honestly, in my opinion. The only other complaints I really have about cosmetology school, because that's really my main complaint, everything else was pretty straight. The only other thing would be the lack of makeup hours, because of the fact that nobody is going to never get sick. Nobody's going to never have a family emergency. Nobody's ever gonna, life happens. So I just don't feel like it should be so strict to the point where you literally, there's no room to miss any days. Like, we ended up figuring out ways to make up hours, but it's not like it was built into the program, like, at all. Or like we really had, like, we had to come up, like, the student government had to come up with ways to make up hours and stuff like that. Then we had to get it, we would always have to get it approved by somebody, like 2 other people and ish like that. Also, my program was kind of shiesty, because you would be high key if you followed my program was from 8 to 3:30, something like that. In order for you to actually graduate on time, you had to come at 7:30. But they would tell you school is from 8 to 3:34, but then you would get penalized for coming at 8 because you were really supposed to be there at 7:30. So it's like, why would you tell us one time if we're really supposed to be here at another time? And if we actually follow what time you told us and we come at 8, we won't graduate in time. And then at the end, we're going to be wondering why we're 50, 60 hours behind, because them little half hours add up, baby. They add up quick. So my program was, honestly, they were really shiesty in the way they did their hours, and everybody used to say, and everybody used to have a problem with it, and it wasn't fair, because not only did you not really have the ability to make up hours, but then they would start you off so that you would be behind on hours every semester, and unless you caught it early, if you waited to the end, you would be messed up. You would end up having to pay for another semester. So that was very shiesty. So just, yeah, make sure you're keeping track of your hours, but also make sure that your program isn't doing that little shiesty stuff, because my program definitely was. I'ma say it. Still love y'all, but I'ma say it. I mean, in hindsight, I got makeup on this side too, so I'm gonna try and cover that up. I just got makeup all over this. I was laying down on this earlier, but In hindsight, there are pros and cons to having to wear uniforms and stuff. Like, I get it. Like, not everybody wants to go out and buy outfits for school, and then you got to be in school every single day, so you have to buy at least enough outfits to last you through the whole week. So it is kind of good that we had the scrubs. Like, I am appreciative looking back at it that we had the scrubs, but I don't feel like we should have had to, like, they were very, like, if you weren't in your scrubs, you couldn't get any hours. So say you had an event, and like we even had an event. We had an event where we all went and we did the makeup for this award show, and we were told, you know, they were like, don't wear your scrubs because it's like a kind of like an upscale, it's a classy event. Don't wear your scrubs. Cool. So then we were like, well, are we getting hours for this? Because this is like a 5-6 hour event. Are we getting hours? And then the answer was no, because you're not going to be in your scrubs. So, and it was on a weekend, on a Saturday. So I'm just like, why can't we use that as an extra credit opportunity? Like, why can't we're doing this for y'all done picked us out to do this, we're spending a whole Saturday afternoon doing this for y'all, and we're not going to get any hours because we're not supposed to wear our scrubs, and we're not getting hours because we're not wearing our scrubs. So it's just like, just little stuff like that. Like, having a uniform has its pros and cons, and it can be annoying, but all in all, that really is everything that I have to say about cosmetology school and just the process and going and all that good stuff. I know that for me, my process was a little interesting because I had to write my parents a proposal, because they were like, if you go to cosmetology school, you're always going to be working 2 or 3 jobs. You're never going to make money. And back then, they were saying it out of love. They just wanted to see me succeed. They were scared because I was leaving a 4-year, where everybody down here is like, oh, the 4-year route is guaranteed, but it's really not, because you can do a 4-year and not make any money and be getting, you can be getting outdone by somebody who went to cosmetology school making 6 figures. And baby, girls be out here making 6 figures just doing makeup alone. So imagine how much you make if you know how to do makeup, nails, hair. You can do microblading. You can do this, and that. Like, imagine how much these females really out here making. Our cosmetology teacher had us do a activity where we added up how much money she made in a year. She gave us like her old appointment books and like with her prices and stuff. Baby was making about $6,000 to $8,000 a month. Mind you, she was not doing no types of weaves, no sew-ins, no nothing, just off natural hair and relaxers and stuff like that. She was making like $6,000, $8,000 a month. I know girls out here making 20 bands in a month just doing hair. So, but like I said, my parents, they wanted the best, and they were speaking from a time where it didn't used to be like that, and things are, you know, changing and rapidly growing, and social media is a big deal now, so you can make a lot of money just doing stuff through social media, etc., etc. So just you know, just keep all those things in mind. Hopefully I'm not leaving anything out, but that was my cosmetology school experience. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed myself for the most part. Granted, when I was actually in cosmetology school, I was like, oh my God, as soon as I get done with this, I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna talk so much junk, because I used to be so mad up in there some days. But looking back on it, it really wasn't all that bad. So yeah, so if you're trying to go to cosmetology school, take a look at this video. Hopefully it helps you. If you have any more questions, let me know, and I will see you guys in my next video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It would help me a lot. And I will see you guys next time.